We, the Belarus Women's Foundation, appeal to all men, women, students, diplomats, global leaders and school teachers to stand with Belarusian political prisoners. As of today, there are over 500 political prisoners in Belarus, and this number only increases. These people neither committed crimes nor violated Belarusian law at the time of arrest. Instead, they were imprisoned for peacefully protesting the results of a fraudulent election. The right to free and fair elections has been stolen from Belarus by Lukashenko. Every political prisoner in Belarus is representative of some of Lukashenko's hidden fears. Fears of free speech, equal opportunity, and democratic elections. Lukashenko attempts to crush these fears with brute force. People in specially built detention camps are tortured both physically and psychologically.
During my second detention, I experienced cruelty and humiliation, and my arm was broken.
During my arrest, a special forces officer was hitting me in the head while holding me by my hair and cursing me, although I was not resisting or disobeying.
They beat up one man so severely that his kidneys were damaged. He wet himself with blood.
They took us out. I remember they made me face the wall to the left of the camera, and I noticed that I was not standing in a puddle, but in a blood and urine stain. It seemed they had beaten someone by the cell doors during the night.
He hit me in the face. He did it so quickly. He hit me and immediately kneed me in the stomach. I thought he'd hit my liver because I bent double straight away.
While transferring us from one cell to another, a police woman lined us up along the wall and beat us all on the legs and buttocks. Then she kicked us into the cell.
I stood facing the wall, with my arms raised and my hands twisted uncomfortably. At the same time, a policewoman was screaming at me to spread my legs, to do the splits. In order to help me, she would kick the inside of my legs with her army boots.
The light in the cell remained on all night, and the door was regularly hit with a truncheon.
The bright light was constantly on, and it never went off. I wasn't able to sleep.
We had only one thought: to survive.
Using obscenities and a truncheon, he made me kneel in front of him.
After a medical examination, I'm transgender, I was placed in solitary confinement. I asked to be put back in the cell with the other prisoners. A prison officer replied, "We don't have cells for roosters like you." Roosters, offensive language regarding gay and transgender people in Russian.
This tyrannical regime rapes, murders, beats, humiliates and punishes for no reason, isolates people in separate cells with no airflow, or forces cell overcrowding. People are held in unsanitary conditions, afforded no medical assistance, forced into cold showers and cold cells with no bedding.
Almost all of the inmates in the cell had COVID, with fever, sore throat and other symptoms. The prison doctor treated us badly. He said that he would give us medicine only if our temperature would be at least 40 degrees, and anything else would go away by itself.
I had migraine and felt sick with pain. I didn't take my hormonal pills. I was denied any medical help, and they didn't even bring the pills that I had with me.
People who asked for help were punished. They were beaten up.
None of us received any medical help for 3 days. We were all alone. My wounds started to fester on the 3rd day.
My cellmate had a broken leg, but wasn't given any medicine or provided any help. We begged them to at least give her some medicine or bandages to help her.
In a 4-bed cell measuring up to 10 square meters, there were 36 women. There was absolutely no space, and we lay on the top of each other, under the beds, on the benches, in the nightstands. The officer poured a bucket of cold water over us and closed the door. The water evaporated quickly due to the heat, and we began to choke on the steam.
In the middle of the night, I understood that we would start dying in half an hour and would keep on dying until there was enough oxygen for the rest of us.
There were the remains of a bar of soap. Just a sliver, a tiny piece.
The room was very smelly. There were no personal hygiene products, and we tried to ask for toilet paper. The officer shouted at me to wipe myself with my clothes.
The heating was turned off deliberately, despite it being minus 15 degrees Celsius outside. There were no mattresses on the bare iron beds. We were forced to sleep sitting on the floor. At night we often couldn't feel our feet, or we had abdominal pain because of the cold.
These violations of human rights are designed to suppress, weaken and terrorize the opposition movement in Belarus and discourage further dissent. Belarusians, like many repressed people of the world, are fighting for their human rights, freedoms, democracy and futures. Lukashenko attempts to quash these dreams by exerting massive physical and psychological pressure on those arrested for crimes against social stability. But the imprisoned will not be silenced. Every day, people are released from the detention camps as they reach full capacity. Each tells a story of terror, violence, and brutality. If the world does not stand behind Belarusian political prisoners, Lukashenko's dictatorship shall know no borders and will further encourage his benefactor to act in similar ways.